Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily English Cafe podcast. I am your host, Harvey, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. We are in Season 1, Episode 4, and let me tell you, today's topic is absolutely massive. We are talking about traveling, exploring, and looking at the incredible map of the upcoming 2026 World Cup.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the cafe. I am Emma, your English language coach. It is so wonderful to have you with us today. Harvey, I can hear the excitement in your voice. You said the topic is massive. Before we travel across the map, let's explain that word for our listeners. Massive simply means very, very big or huge. For example, you can say the World Cup is a massive sporting event.
Exactly, Emma. Thank you. It is going to be a massive tournament because for the first time in history, 3 different countries are hosting the games together. We have Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And get this, the matches will be played in 16 different host cities. Imagine the distance, the different cultures, and the incredible journeys for the football fans of the world. Wow, 3 countries and 16 cities. That really is a grand adventure. But wait, Harvey, you used an interesting phrase there. You said these countries are hosting the games, and you mentioned host cities. Let's pause for a moment to break that down for our learners. To host means to welcome guests to your home, or in this case, to your country, and to organize the event for them. The person who invites you is the host. So Canada, Mexico, and the USA are the host countries. They are opening their doors to the world. Beautifully explained, Emma. And those 16 host cities are spread out all over the continent of North America. If you are a football fan planning to follow your favorite team, you might start your week in the cold, beautiful mountains of Vancouver, Canada, and finish your week in the sunny, high-altitude city of Mexico City. It is a traveler's dream. That sounds like an amazing journey, Harvey. But hold on. You used another phrase that our B1 intermediate learners might find interesting. High altitude. Can you tell us what that means in simple terms?
Oh, of course. Altitude means how high a place is above the level of the sea. Mexico City is built very high up on a plateau in the mountains. So when we say high altitude, we mean it is far above sea level. The air is thinner there, which actually makes the football fly faster, and it makes the players tired much more quickly.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That is an excellent detail. So, everyday example. If you hike up a tall mountain, you are at a high altitude. Thank you, Harvey. Let's look at the countries one by one. Let's start with the north. Let's talk about Canada. Which cities are hosting the matches there?
Canada has 2 beautiful host cities, Vancouver on the west coast and Toronto on the east coast. Vancouver is famous for its breathtaking nature, where the ocean meets the mountains. Toronto is a huge, bustling metropolis known for its incredible diversity.
Oh, I love those descriptions, Harvey. But let's look at 2 great words you used. First, you said Vancouver has breathtaking nature. Breathtaking is a beautiful adjective. It means something is so beautiful, so amazing, that it takes your breath away. It makes you go, wow. For example, you can say, the view from the top of the mountain was breathtaking.
Yes, that is exactly what Vancouver looks like.
And the second word you used for Toronto was metropolis. A metropolis is just a very large, busy, and important city, usually with millions of people living there. For instance, New York, Tokyo, and Toronto are all metropolises. And you also mentioned Toronto's diversity. Diversity means having many different types of people, cultures, or things together. In Toronto, you can hear over 140 languages spoken. It is a true melting pot.
It really is. Now, let's jump south, past the United States for a moment, and talk about Mexico. Mexico has 3 fantastic host cities: Monterrey, Guadalajara, and the capital, Mexico City. Mexico has a rich history with the World Cup because they have hosted it twice before, in 1970 and 1986. The stadium in Mexico City, the Estadio Azteca, is legendary.
Oh, Mexico is beautiful. The culture is so vibrant. Let's talk about that word, vibrant. When we say a culture or a city is vibrant, it means it is full of life, energy, and bright colors. Think of lively music, delicious street food, and passionate people. Mexico is definitely vibrant. And Harvey, you used the word legendary. What does that mean for our listeners?
Well, Emma, when something is legendary, it means it is very famous and admired for a long time, like a legend. The Estadio Azteca is legendary because some of the greatest football matches in human history were played there, including amazing goals by Pelé and Maradona. It's like a holy place for football fans.
Ah, I see. So a legendary stadium is a place that everyone knows because of its important history. Just like we can say Michael Jordan is a legendary basketball player. Perfect. Now let's move to the United States. They have 11 host cities. That is a lot of ground to cover, Harvey.
It certainly is. The host cities in the U.S. are spread all over the country. We have cities on the East Coast like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. Then we have cities in the South like Miami, Atlanta, Houston, and Dallas. In the Midwest, there is Kansas City. And on the West Coast, we have Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. It is a massive geographical area. Traveling between these cities means you will be crossing different time zones. Oh dear, crossing time zones can be very difficult for travelers. Let's explain that. The world is divided into different time zones because when it is morning in London, it is the middle of the night in Los Angeles. When you travel long distances by airplane across these zones, your body gets confused. You feel very tired because your body clock thinks it is time to sleep, but the local clock says it is time to wake up. In English, we call this feeling jet lag. Harvey, have you ever suffered from jet lag? Oh, absolutely, Emma. Many times. When I traveled across the Atlantic Ocean, I had terrible jet lag. I was wide awake at 3 in the morning and completely exhausted at 2 in the afternoon. It takes a few days for your body to adjust. And for football fans traveling coast to coast in 2026, jet lag will definitely be a challenge.
Coast to coast. That is another wonderful idiom. Coast to coast means from one side of the country all the way to the other side. The U.S. has the Atlantic Ocean on the East Coast and the Pacific Ocean on the West Coast. So traveling from New York to Los Angeles is traveling coast to coast. It takes about 6 hours by plane.
Yes, it's a 6-hour flight. That is longer than a flight from London to Cairo. This is why planning your trip is so important. If a fan wants to see a match in Miami, Florida, and then another match in Seattle, Washington, they need to prepare for a long journey. They will see how the landscape changes from the tropical sunny beaches of Miami to the rainy green forests of Seattle.
This brings up a great point for our language learners, Harvey. If you are traveling to these 16 cities, you need to know how to ask for help, navigate airports, and talk about your travel plans. Let's practice some simple, useful English phrases that our listeners can use when they travel.
That is a fantastic idea, Emma. Let's do a mini role play. Let's imagine I am a football fan arriving at the airport in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am trying to find a train to the stadium. You can be the airport information assistant. Perfect. Let's do it. I am ready. Excuse me. Hello? Could you please tell me how to get to the downtown stadium from here? Of course. Welcome to Atlanta. The easiest way is to take the MARTA train. The station is located just past the baggage claim area. You can buy a ticket at the automated machines.
Thank you so much. Is the stadium far away? How long does the train ride take?
It is not too far. It takes about 20 minutes on the train, and the station is right next to the stadium. Enjoy the match.
That was excellent, Emma. See, Those are very simple, direct phrases. Could you please tell me how to get to is a wonderful, polite way to ask for directions anywhere in the world?
Yes, it is. Notice how Harvey used could you please instead of where is. It is much more polite, and people are always happier to help you when you use polite language. Another key phrase Harvey used was, how long does it take? This is the standard English question we use to ask about time duration. For example, how long does it take to cook pasta? Or how long does it take to fly from Toronto to Mexico City?
Exactly. And your response was great too, Emma. You mentioned the baggage claim area. Let's explain that one, because every traveler needs to find it. The baggage claim is the specific place in the airport where you wait for your large suitcases to come out on those moving conveyor belts after your flight lands.
Yes, exactly. Do not forget your bags at the baggage claim. Now, Harvey, let's talk about another practical aspect of traveling across 3 countries for the World Cup. The money, the currencies, and traveling on a budget.
Oh, that is a huge topic. So in Canada, they use the Canadian dollar. In the United States, they use the US dollar. And in Mexico, they use the Mexican peso. Even though Canada and the US both use dollars, they are different currencies with different values.
That is true. And you mentioned the phrase traveling on a budget. Let's define that for our A2B1 friends. A budget is a plan for your money. It means you decide how much money you can spend before you start your trip. When you are traveling on a budget, it means you do not have an unlimited amount of money. So you are trying to be careful and spend as little as possible. You look for cheap flights, affordable hotels, and inexpensive food.
Ha ha ha! Yes! I am a master of traveling on a budget. If you want to save money during the World Cup, my advice is to look for accommodation. That means a place to stay, like a hotel or a hostel, slightly outside the city center. The public transport systems in cities like New York, Toronto, and Mexico City are excellent, so you can easily take the subway or the bus to the stadium.
That is a top tip, Harvey. You use the word accommodation. That can be a tricky word to spell and pronounce. Let's say it together. Accommodation. It just means a place to live or stay for a short time. Hotels, Airbnbs, hostels, and guest houses are all types of accommodation.
Perfect pronunciation, Emma. Another tip for traveling on a budget is to enjoy the local street food, especially in Mexico. Mexican street food like tacos and tamales is not only incredibly delicious and authentic, but it is also very cheap compared to sitting down in a formal restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. Eating street food is also a wonderful way to practice your language skills. You can chat with the local vendors. You can say, "Hello, what do you recommend?" Or, "Can I please have 2 tacos?" It is simple, practical English or Spanish, depending on where you are.
Yes, though in Mexico you will definitely want to practice your Spanish. But in the US and Canada, English will be your main tool. Let's look at how the experience changes between the regions. For example, if you go to the Pacific Northwest, to cities like Seattle or Vancouver, you will experience beautiful summer weather, but it can be cool and rainy. If you go to Texas, to cities like Houston or Dallas, the summer heat can be intense. It can be over 40 degrees Celsius.
Wow, 40 degrees Celsius is very hot. For our learners, let's look at the word Harvey used, intense. When we say the heat is intense, it means it is very strong, extreme, or severe. It isn't just a warm summer day. It is the kind of heat that makes you want to stay inside with the air conditioning. So if you travel to Texas or Miami in the summer, make sure to drink plenty of water and wear sunscreen.
Nodding. Definitely. Sunscreen and water are essential. Now, Emma, let's think about the cultural experience of visiting these different cities. Each city has its own unique flavor. For instance, New York is often called the city that never sleeps. It is fast-paced, noisy, and incredibly exciting. On the other hand, A city like San Francisco is famous for its beautiful bridges, hills, and a more relaxed, artistic vibe. Vibe. That is a popular modern English word that our intermediate learners will hear a lot. A vibe is short for vibration, but we use it to describe the feeling, atmosphere, or mood of a place, or a person. For example, this cafe has a very relaxing vibe, or I love the energetic vibe of this stadium. So San Francisco has a relaxed vibe, while New York has a fast-paced vibe. That is the perfect explanation, Emma. I love that word. Every stadium will have its own unique vibe depending on which city you are in. Imagine the atmosphere in Los Angeles at the SoFi Stadium, surrounded by Hollywood glamour, compared to the atmosphere in Kansas City, which is famous for its incredible stadium barbecue culture. Barbecue culture? Tell me more about that, Harvey. Oh, Kansas City is world famous for its slow-cooked barbecue meats and special sweet sauces. Before the football matches start, fans do something called tailgating. This is an American tradition where people gather in the parking lot of the stadium before the game. They open the back of their cars, set up grills, cook food, drink beverages, and play music. It's a massive party before the actual game even begins. Oh, wow! Tailgating. That is a very specific piece of cultural vocabulary. Let's explain that clearly. A tailgate is the door at the back of a large car or truck that opens downwards or upwards. So, tailgating means having a party around the back of your car in a parking lot before a big sports event or concert. What a fun tradition. It sounds like a great way to meet new friends and practice English. You can walk up to someone and say, "Wow, that smells delicious. What are you cooking?"
Exactly. People are incredibly friendly at tailgates. They will probably offer you a burger or a hot dog. It is a fantastic opportunity to immerse yourself in the local culture.
Immerse yourself. Let's look at that phrase. To immerse yourself in something means to become completely involved in it, to surround yourself with it. When you travel to a new country, you don't just stay in your hotel room. You go out, you try the food, you talk to the locals, you experience the traditions. You immerse yourself in the culture. And for our listeners, listening to this podcast is a way to immerse yourself in the English language.
Absolutely. You are doing a wonderful job just by listening to us today. Let's do a quick summary of some of the amazing vocabulary and phrases we have learned today, just to help our listeners remember them. Emma, do you want to lead the review?
I would love to. Let's do a quick memory check. First, we learned the word massive, which means very large or huge. Second, we discussed host countries and host cities, which are the places welcoming guests and organizing the event. Third, we talked about breathtaking views, which are so beautiful they take your breath away. Fourth, we explained Metropolis, a very large and busy city. Fifth, we looked at jet lag, the tired feeling you get after flying across different time zones. And finally, we learned about tailgating, the fun American tradition of partying in the stadium parking lot before a game.
What a fantastic list! If you can use just 2 or 3 of these words in your own English conversations this week, you will be making incredible progress. Remember, learning a language is a journey, just like traveling across 16 cities for the World Cup. You take it one step at a time, one city at a time, one word at a time.
Beautifully said, Harvey. It really is a journey. To all our wonderful listeners at the Daily English Cafe, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. We hope you enjoyed our little trip across Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Don't forget to practice your English, stay curious, and keep exploring.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the Daily English Cafe podcast so you never miss an episode. In our next episode, we will be diving deeper into the rules of the game and how to talk about football like a true native expert. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful day and happy traveling.